Control, this is Alpha Team. We are ready for the lift.
Roger that, Alpha. Keep the area clear.
Most tunnels are drilled. Engineers send a machine the size of a 10-story building grinding through solid rock, kilometer by kilometer, for years. But right now, in the Baltic Sea between Denmark and Germany, engineers are doing something that sounds completely insane. They are building 89 concrete structures the size of city blocks on dry land and then sinking them to the bottom of the ocean. Each one weighs 73,000 tons. That is the same as 14,000 elephants. And every single one has to be lowered 40 meters underwater and docked to the previous segment with millimeter precision. One misalignment, one fractured seal, and $7.4 billion disappears into the sea. This is the Fehmarnbelt Fixed Link, and it is about to become the longest immersed tunnel on Earth. Right now, if you want to travel by train from Hamburg to Copenhagen, two of Northern Europe's biggest cities, the journey takes 5 hours. Not because the distance is huge. It is about 380 kilometers. The problem is the Baltic Sea. Specifically, an 18-kilometer stretch of water called the Fehmarnbelt, a shallow, strategically vital strait sitting between the German island of Fehmarn and the Danish island of Lolland. For decades, ferries were the only crossing, and ferries are slow, weather-dependent. A bottleneck sitting in the middle of one of Europe's busiest trade corridors, the Scandinavian-Mediterranean route, a freight highway moving everything from Norwegian salmon to Moroccan textiles across the continent. The fix. Build a fixed link. But here is where it gets complicated. The Fehmarnbelt is nothing like the English Channel. The Channel Tunnel went through chalk marl, a geologist's dream, soft and uniform. The Fehmarnbelt is shallow, sits beneath some of the harshest weather in Northern Europe, and is crossed constantly by some of the busiest shipping traffic on the planet. Conventional drilling was off the table. So engineers chose the immersed tube method, an approach so audacious it had never been attempted at this scale anywhere on Earth. Before you can sink a tunnel, you have to build it. And that required constructing something that did not exist yet, a factory covering the equivalent of 140 football fields, built on a temporary artificial peninsula jutting into the sea at Rødbyhavn on Denmark's southern coast. This is the Fehmarnbelt Element Factory, and it is unlike anything in civil engineering history. The tunnel is made up of 89 individual elements. 79 of those are what engineers call standard elements. Each one is 217 meters long, 42 meters wide, and 10 meters tall. To put that in perspective, you could lay two Airbus A380s nose to tail inside a single segment. But size is not the engineering challenge. Waterproofing is. Every element is cast using a technique called Monolithic Concreting, meaning each segment is poured as a single, unbroken concrete shell. No joints, no seams, no external ties. The entire structure holds itself together through the geometry of the concrete alone. Inside each element, there are 4 tubes, 2 rail tunnels, 2 road tunnels, and a central service gallery running the full length. The whole system, and 3.2 million cubic meters of concrete, has to be cast to tolerances that would embarrass a watchmaker. Because if a single section leaks 40 meters underwater, you cannot exactly send someone down with a sealant gun. Here is the part that breaks people's brains. Before you sink something, you have to float it. Each 73,000-ton concrete segment is cast in a dry dock inside the factory. Once complete, the basin is deliberately flooded and the element floats. How? At each end of every segment, engineers install massive waterproof steel bulkheads. These temporary end caps seal the tubes completely, trapping air inside. That trapped air creates enough buoyancy to support the weight of the concrete, turning what is essentially a building into a boat. The result is a structure you could, theoretically, tow with a single tugboat, and that is exactly what they do. Each element is carefully maneuvered out of the factory basin and into the open water of the Fehmarnbelt, slowly, deliberately. A convoy of support vessels surrounding it on all sides. But floating is only the beginning. Before any of this could happen, engineers had to dig a trench across the entire floor of the Baltic Sea, 18 kilometers long. up to 30 meters deep. They dredged 15 million cubic meters of material, sand, sediment, clay, and relocated it carefully, managing the displacement so as not to damage the seabed ecosystem along the route. The trench took years to complete, and now it had to receive something that had never been built before. This is where the IVY pontoons come in. Two purpose-built vessels designed exclusively for the Fehmarnbelt Link. Each one carries a 23-kilometer steel wire winch system, cables long enough to stretch from one end of Manhattan to the other. The IVY pontoons position themselves over the trench, one on each side of the floating element. Steel wires connect to lifting points on the segment's roof. And then, very, very slowly, the ballast tanks inside the element are flooded with seawater. The element sinks, not dramatically, not quickly. Over the course of 50 hours, the segment descends centimeter by centimeter into the trench below. The winch system holds its position against Baltic currents. Support divers monitor the descent in real time. Sensors on the element feed positioning data to a control room where engineers track every movement to the nearest millimeter, 50 hours, non-stop, because you cannot pause halfway through sinking a concrete building. At 40 meters, the element approaches the prepared gravel bed at the bottom of the trench. The final positioning phase begins. And this is where it gets truly extraordinary. Each new element has to connect to the one already in place. But 40 meters underwater, you cannot see. You cannot touch. You cannot manually guide something weighing 73,000 tons into a socket. So engineers designed a system of steel guide brackets, frames welded to each element's end, that act like a docking collar. As the new segment descends, the brackets engage with its predecessor's steel beams, funneling it into alignment. Remote sensors, sonar, inclinometers, positioning systems feed live data to the surface. Engineers adjust the winches in real time, correcting pitch and yaw in fractions of a degree. The element settles. The brackets lock. Then comes the seal. Around the perimeter of each element's end face, there is a rubber gasket. When the new element presses against the old one, this gasket compresses, creating a watertight ring around the entire joint. But the gasket alone is not enough, so engineers flood the space between the two bulkheads, the gap between the old segment's end cap and the new ones, and then they pump that water out. The pressure differential created by that pumping process pulls the two segments together with extraordinary force, squeezing the gasket completely flat and creating a permanent vacuum seal. The ocean is on the outside, the tunnel is on the inside, and between them, 6 centimeters of compressed rubber holding back 40 meters of Baltic Sea. Every 2 kilometers along the route, standard elements are replaced by what engineers call special elements. These are not just tunnel sections. They are the nervous system of the entire crossing, housing electrical substations, ventilation plants, fire suppression infrastructure, emergency evacuation chambers, and the communications networks that will keep the tunnel operational 24 hours a day. Think of them as vertebrae in a spine. The tunnel can function without any single one, but lose several and the whole system shuts down. For road users, cross passages run every 100 meters, escape routes between tubes in the event of an incident. For rail passengers traveling at 200 kilometers per hour through the completed tunnel, response systems have to be capable of bringing a train to a controlled stop and evacuating passengers within the confines of a concrete tube on the floor of the sea. This is engineering that does not just move people. It keeps them alive while doing it. The timeline is brutal. Winter storms in the Baltic can halt immersion operations for weeks. Each element takes months to cast and finish. The construction sequence is choreographed years in advance, because missing an immersion window does not mean a delay of days. It means a delay of months, waiting for the next weather window in a body of water that does not forgive impatience. Meanwhile, 15 million cubic meters of dredged seabed material has to be managed, monitored, and in some cases re-dredged as sediment shifts back into the trench over time. The project is not just a construction challenge. It is a sustained battle against geography, weather, and physics running simultaneously across land, sea surface, and seabed. When the Fehmarnbelt Link opens in 2029, the Hamburg to Copenhagen rail journey drops from 5 hours to 2.5. For freight, the impact is larger still. Trucks currently spend hours queuing for a ferry crossing that shuts down in a storm. The fixed link runs in all weather, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The Scandinavian-Mediterranean corridor, one of the busiest trade arteries in Europe, gets a permanent, reliable spine. This is not just a Denmark-Germany story. It is a continental one. Goods moving faster from Oslo to Milan. People moving easier from Stockholm to Brussels. A fixed link in the Baltic quietly tightening the economic fabric of an entire region, one sunk segment at a time. $7.4 billion. 89 concrete elements. 15 million cubic meters of dredged seabed. 50 hours per segment. 18 kilometers of tunnel. And millimeter precision 40 meters below the Baltic Sea. Most megaprojects move mountains. This one moved the seafloor. And the crazy part? Sinking concrete buildings into the ocean might not even be the most extreme construction project happening on this planet right now. Because somewhere in the middle of one of the hottest, driest deserts on Earth, engineers are trying to build an entire city from scratch. From nothing. On sand. For millions of people. That story is next.